most students are doing everything right, from the long study sessions to the detailed notes to the highlight markers, and they still get average results. The reason isn't that they're not working hard enough. It's that everything that they've been taught about studying is completely wrong. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact methods that make information stick, that cut your study times in half, and put you ahead of every single person in your class who is still doing it the old way. So, what makes me credible? I'm just some random dude on the internet. Why would you listen to me? Well, this is a picture of my table during my GCSE finals. Like, I think it was like a month or two before. And as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. I've got the papers on my table right here, color coded, red for important like keywords, black just for normal text. I also used to have blue, green, and I used to have highlight markers as well, which I'd use for my notes. I have all my school notebooks out here with even more notes in them. I've got files full of papers, past papers. I've probably got a past paper booklet somewhere on the left. I've got my caffeine ready made. I've got my water bottle, my calculator. As you can see, very well prepared. And I actually did end up getting the results that I wanted. I ended up getting 6 A stars in my GCSEs. But the problem was that I did it in the most inefficient way possible. I took about 10 times more hours to learn everything than everyone around me. And it's not just that I was a complete idiot and I couldn't learn anything. It's that the way I was learning was just completely wrong, and I had the complete wrong mindset for learning. So I didn't get to do anything fun during my GCSEs because I was so focused on studying. So how do you not fall into the same trap as me? And this is actually something I fixed during my A levels. And while everyone around me was studying super hard, I actually wasn't studying at all, and I was still doing better than almost every single person in my class. So how did I do it in the first place? Well, number one is you need to figure out how much time you're actually studying for. And this is a mistake a lot of us make because we set this like, oh, today I'm going to study for 6 hours. But come on, let's be honest. You're not actually going to study for 6 hours. Nobody studies for 6 hours straight. Sure, you can maybe study for like 2-hour blocks throughout the day, but there is no way you are doing a 6-hour straight session. Don't lie to yourself. And the way I can prove that to you is by using a stopwatch. And this is what I want you to do, whether it's a digital one or a normal IRL stopwatch. Get a stopwatch, and every time you're studying, press the stopwatch, turn it on. And when you want to stop studying, take a break, that is completely fine. Just stop the stopwatch and then go take your break. Nothing wrong with that, but it'll give you an accurate representation of how long you're studying for. And I remember doing this for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely study for at least an hour and a half throughout my 2 hours. I set a 2-hour study block and I ended up studying for only 30 minutes. So I basically wasted an hour and a half of my 2-hour block, and I wouldn't have known unless I timed it. So that's what I want you to start doing. Firstly, start a stopwatch and just see how long you're actually studying for. Turn it into a game. Oh, today I studied for 30 minutes. Tomorrow I'm going to study for an hour. The day after I'm going to study for 4, Turn it into a game, compete against yourself. It makes it a lot more enjoyable to actually study. Second thing, if you have your phone anywhere near you while you study, throw it across the room, hide it in another room, give it to your mom, wherever you can. Keep your phone as far away as possible. There have been so many studies at this point that show just having your phone around you drops your productivity by at least 20%. 20% is already so much, but it could be way more than that. So why risk it? Just keep your phone as far away as possible while you're doing things, and you will just become more productive naturally. And the final thing I want you to do is grab a notebook the night before you want to actually do the task and write down every task you want to accomplish. And this just gives you a rough schedule of the things you want to get done the next day. So when you wake up, you're not sitting there wasting time thinking, oh, today I'm going to study. Study what, right? Be more specific. Today I'm going to study chemistry, paper 2. And then write that down. So then the next day when you wake up, you don't need to sit down and think, oh, what do I study? You just go, oh, today I'm going to study chemistry paper 2. And then get the exact paper 2. If you can even get the year down, even better, right? The more specific you get, the less time you waste thinking about the problem, and the more time you're actually saving to actually focus on your studying. The second thing is, what do you do during your breaks? Because arguably your breaks are just as important as your study sessions. If you don't take a good break, you won't be motivated to study. So what do you do during that? Do you get on your phone and start scrolling? Do you start talking to your friends, start watching YouTube shorts or Instagram reels? No, that's not what you do. What you actually need to do is grab a tennis ball, grab a skip rope, anything physical, football, basketball, whatever you like, right? Just a physical activity that does not use your brain power at all. Come on, let's be honest. If you throw a tennis ball around your room, are you using your brain? No, you're not. And that's what makes it so effective. Your brain is probably tired from studying. You don't want to make it more tired by scrolling. What you want to do is give your brain time to rest. So use your physical body. Yes, you might be a little bit physically fatigued at the end of it, but who cares? You don't need your physical ability to study, do you? So grab a tennis ball, throw it around your room, go outside, do whatever you want. Just don't use your phone or scroll or whatever, right? Don't watch YouTube during your breaks. That's not productive. Next, the third thing you need to understand, arguably the most important thing, is understanding spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is fairly simple. When you first learn something, you know it 100%. You learn every aspect of it. And then day two, you forget about 20% of it. So now you're at 80%. And then if you keep letting that go, eventually in a week's time, you don't remember any of it. But what if you quickly recap everything you did on day one in day two? Well, then you're going to remember it back to 100%. And then it actually takes you longer to forget. Your brain is very intelligent at this type of thing. So what you need to do is you need to positively reinforce that. Anything that you want to remember, constantly learn it. And I recommend using this thing called Anki. They're Anki flashcards. Very simple. You create your own flashcards of questions or key notes or whatever you need to remember. Put them down in your Anki flashcards, and every single day just open them and go through them one time. It honestly won't even take you that long. It took me like 15 minutes a day, but it kept me through, like, taught me literally everything I needed to know. And because of that, I was able to just learn everything in 15 minutes, which took most people 6 hours to learn, which sounds crazy, but it's because everyone else was learning it from scratch because they'd completely forgotten it. Whereas I was constantly remembering again and again and again. And that is something you can use to basically make it look like you're cheating. Like, people will be like, what's your study hack? And you're like, I honestly just don't have one, right? Like, it is super overpowered to start abusing spaced repetition, but most people don't even do it, which is why I think most people struggle with school. Number 4 is actually 2 things. One, note taking is the biggest waste of time. You saw earlier in that picture, I took so many notes. I literally made notes earlier in the year, and then I made even more concise notes, and then I made even more concise notes, and I never actually read them. And look, taking notes is actually a good way to learn the topic initially. But once you already understand a little bit of a topic, it is probably the worst way to relearn things. So please, completely stop taking notes for the second time. If you want to take notes for the first time, completely understand, that is okay. But for the second time, it is the most useless thing you can ever do. And teaching is more important than relearning it. We all understand this to some extent, right? There's probably something that you're really good at that your friends struggle with, and your friends are really good at that you struggle with. Whatever it is, literally just teach it to each other, because that is the best way to remember something. And also ask your friends to question you. Be like, oh, if you don't understand something, ask me the question. And if I'm not able to answer, great. Now I'm filling in the gap of knowledge that I have. Go on Google, go in your textbook, wherever it is, fill in the knowledge, and now you know it, right? Things that you previously would have never thought about finally come into your brain because you've got someone else's perspective of it. And that's just going to help you fill in the blanks that you didn't even know you had way better than note taking. The problem with note taking is that it only fills in the gaps that you already know. Why would you care about the gaps you already know? You're trying to fill in the stuff that you don't know. And the best way to do that is by teaching everything you know to the people around you. So use this rule, the 80-20 rule, and the rule is fairly simple. It's that 20% of the things you do lead to 80% of the results. So the two that are very relevant to school are like talking to your friends about this exact thing. It's like, yeah, communicating, be like, what did you learn from it? Did you have any questions, whatever? Are you able to answer the questions? No. If not, textbooks, teachers, whatever you need to go and find out, right? And the second thing is probably even more broken than that, the past papers. I mean, imagine just having a collection of every test done in history and just using that to your advantage. It is so simple, but I promise you, this is like a guarantee I can give you. If you do every past paper from like 2017 to 2026, I know it's a lot, 3 different times, you will guarantee yourself at least an A minimum. It's that simple. And yes, I know that sounds like a lot, right? Of course, it is still a lot. It's not easy to get an A, but it's a lot easier than writing down 100 pages of notes and then still getting a B or C, which is what most people do. So yeah, if you do each paper 3 times, you will be completely fine and guaranteed to get an A. So number 5 is the championship mentality. This is the type of mentality you need to build in order to actually succeed. And it's the mentality that shows that only the end goal matters. Forget about the short term, work on your base. The stronger the base, the harder it is to knock down. Forget about everything that is before the final test. The only thing that matters is the final outcome, whether that's a promotion or a A-level test or whatever it is, right? The only thing that matters is the good grade on the final test. But most people are so focused on like the mini tests that come before it. I remember in like year 10, we'd have like a test once a month just to make sure we were keeping up with the class. But those tests were completely useless. And I wasted a lot of time studying for those tests when in reality, what I should have been studying is how to make my base as strong as possible. Now, how do you make your base as strong as possible? It's by going through the topics that you really struggle with. So if you're already good at the newest topic, forget about it. Yes, the test is going to be on the newest topic and you might do bad on the test. Who cares? Figure out what topics you really struggle with and get everything to a high enough level so that when the actual test comes around, you are at like 80% in every topic as opposed to 100 in some and 40 in another. That's where you actually fail, because yeah, guess what? With your luck, what's going to happen is all the stuff that you're 40% confident with becomes the majority of the test, right? So all I want you to do is get to an 80% proficiency in literally everything. Now, how do you do that? You build a championship mentality. Forget about the short term and only think about the long term. It makes everything significantly easier. Next, sleeping is honestly more important than studying. Here is a little like life hack for you. Now, this isn't actually true science, it's bro science, but I'm pretty sure that if you sleep for 8 hours every single day, it is impossible to burn out. Now, we all face that, right? You know, when you study and you burn out at some point after like a couple weeks, it's because you're not sleeping properly. All of us pull all-nighters, do whatever to learn the information as fast as possible. That doesn't work. What you need to be doing is sleeping for 8 hours every single day. Just this alone will give you an advantage over everyone around you, because nobody around you is sleeping for 8 hours every day. Now, sleeping for 8 hours every day doesn't mean 8 hours in bed. It means about 9 to 10 hours in bed. So you need to be getting into bed way earlier than most people, and you need to be waking up pretty much later than most people, right? It isn't ideal, but it does work. So I want you to start sleeping more than everyone else, because sleeping is actually when you retain most of your information. If you learn a lot, you are going to remember all of it only if you sleep a lot. Otherwise, you're literally going to go information in 1 ear, one out the other. I don't know why I couldn't say that. I was struggling. I think I need some water. And the final thing I want to say is accountability. Accountability is so important. And having someone accountable to your goals is arguably the most important thing that you could have. So whether it's a friend or a family member or a teacher, you should get them to keep you accountable. Now, obviously, it's a bit weird to talk about this type of thing with your family and friends, because it's like you don't want to actually talk about your struggles with them because you want them to kind of think you're way better than you actually are. So there is a link in the description if you want to hop on a call with me and we can fix any problem that you're struggling with, because I understand whether it's school or work, it can be really difficult if you don't have someone to talk to it about. So link in the description if you want to talk with me. If not, completely fine. Thank you for watching till the end. I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully this video has helped. I hope you do well on your tests, your work, whatever you needed this increased boost productivity learning for. I hope it helped. There's going to be 2 videos on the left of me. I appreciate you watching till the end. And as always, I believe in you. Peace.